And I feel that I pick up on something there, and I just cannot, from my experience and from what I've learned, I cannot imagine that it would just go away or that there's not any effect. I mean, my grandfather, for example, he came back from the prisoner of war in Russia when 1948 or so, whatever, and my father was 6 years old. So my grandfather came back, he was depressed, he didn't talk about things, and my father, is kind of very similar, not talking about things. So I think that I'm the first generation who have a chance to psychologically, spiritually, whatever, really look into this. And I felt guilt. I mean, I couldn't deny this, so there must be others. But I don't think that we should feel guilt. Basically, we should maybe take a feeling of guilt as a start to understand why, and then liberate ourselves from this, with responsibility.
This film is a very personal film, and it's almost like, from what you were just saying, like having psychoanalysis brought out through film. But it isn't your first film that you've created, so I'm wondering, do all your films come from this very personal angle, or was it just specific to a German grandchild's funeral?
My work has been very personal. I haven't made an awful lot of films. I made a film together with Nerea Martinez de Lecer. It's called Skylark, and there we are inspired by Emilia Earhart, the first woman to fly across the Atlantic in a plane. So Neri and me, we approached the film very much from the kind of internal experience of this woman. And I've made a film with Rajashri Ramamurthy, where I was director of photography, and it was her personal story, basically, which you can see in the film. And Woman Running is a film I've made with a few other artists, and also that's the story of a woman with a bit of a psychological kind of difficulty, one could say. We filmed that in the Booth Museum of Natural History, and she is basically running in circles in that museum. And my performances are also very personal. So, saying that, I think I have come to a point where I feel I'd like to step out of that a little bit. It nearly feels as if a German grandchild's funeral is for me like kind of making it's a bit of kind of a resume or something, like putting all this 9 years into some kind of film, and I feel I'd like to now liberate myself from the heaviness of personal examination. And I've been able to let go of a lot of stuff, so I think it's a chance now to create a bit more light-hearted work. Hopefully not just light work in that sense, but I'm not quite sure. I'm I'm a crossroad at the moment. Because I think I've done very personal and very intense emotional work over the last years, and I feel maybe it's good for now, and maybe I'd like to do something more inspired by more abstract ideas, if that makes sense.
As someone who, as an artist, works in various forms and mediums, so, you've got your performance, you've got the film, you spoke about photography earlier. I'm always interested in how you filter your ideas. How do you decide this one is going to be performance, this one is going to be a film? How does that filter work?
That's interesting. Well, as I said, my approach, I think, to my work is in general very visual, whether it's performance or film. And I'm also at the moment writing mainly. I see things, and then, it's not only so much I have to say, not so much a decision of I know this needs to be a film or this needs to be a performance. Often there is maybe a commission or the possibility to work with someone on a film, so I'm helped, this decision often is already kind of a bit determined in that sense, or predetermined. And I think you can, like as I said, a lot of the stuff that you see in the film are taken from performance, because my performances are created I'm often using the very conventional kind of audience performance, like kind of theatrical kind of setup, because I so far always like to control my audience, what they see when they watch a performance. So I I think there's not a big kind of dividing line, or how shall I say, between performance and film in that sense. I think life just then presents you with the opportunity to make either this or that or the other.
Mm-hmm. How did you get involved with Southeast Dance, particularly on this project? Was it a commission that they gave you, or was it just that the festival was coming on and you submitted it to them?
No, this was not specifically a commission from Southeast Dance. I got involved with Southeast Dance, I think, when I applied with Nerea Martinez de Licea for some commission, and so the connection was kind of made, and they supported us in the past with some money and help, etc. With this film, it was mainly that I had Merritt Turner, the director of Southeast Dance. She helped me to formulate or write my application for a grant I applied for from Southeast Arts. So that's the connection. And then I had later on meetings with Charlotte Miles, giving me feedback on the process and production of the film, and they offered me space to work here. And I showed work in progress in one of their dance for camera nights here in Lighthouse. So, and they really liked the film, so I offered, for them to show it here in the festival now, and they chosen the film. So this is how it happened.
Speaking of which, just so that everybody knows and can come down to see the film for themselves, the film's playing on Friday the 30th, isn't it, of November? I believe it starts at 8 p.m?
Well, it's at 8 o'clock, Sally's Benny Theatre, the University of Brighton at Grand Parade. So it's quite a big screening. I mean, I hope lots of people will come. Quite a lot of films.
Fantastic. And will you be there to introduce the film and to...
I think it's not planned, but I will be there. So, I mean, if anybody wanted to talk to me, that would be great, but yeah.
Brilliant. Well, thank you for talking to us on the CineCity podcast.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for joining us here on the CineCity podcast. Visit www.cine-city.co.uk to view or download this year's full programme, book tickets and receive up-to-the-minute festival news. You can also subscribe to the podcast while you're there to make sure you never miss an episode. The CineCity podcast is created in association with Director's Notes, the weekly film podcast dedicated to the what, how and why of independent filmmaking. Find it at directorsnotes.com.